Tonight on 8.5-bit, we change the context, stream some stuff, and James brings nothing to the table. You don't want to click. Welcome, friends of all designs, to episode 252 of 8.5-bit. I'm your host, Paul, and joining me today is my good friend, James.
Hello.
And James, how are you today?
I'm going well.
That's good to know. Now, as is the intro, we are going to be talking about Bubba Is You.
Mm-hmm.
The new, we'll call it a console, Google Stadia. And, of course, the list of games you've already talked about on previous episodes. But you enjoyed them.
I did.
And admittedly, Division 2, you only played...
I only played the beta of.
Beta.
Yeah.
You know how you run a beta like a week before the game comes out, because there's lots of valuable things you can do in a week as a large company.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, okay,
you can make sure the servers don't collapse.
Yeah, you can but if they do collapse, you can't do anything about it.
No.
But I was going to say that sarcasm doesn't hold for Epic, because they might be able to rewrite the game in a week.
Oh, they can afford to.
I think they have the staff to do it currently. Anyway, what's been going on, James?
I don't know, making some video games. I got an Apple TV.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I've
got a spare one just sitting over there. I got abandoned in my office once. Never used it because it's an Apple TV.
I don't mind it. I got one for work because I'm making a game for it. And
do you want an older model? It's right there.
No, I'm happy with the new one.
But you got to test it on the older model.
No, I don't.
James,
I don't want your older model.
What about
one Apple TV is sufficient.
What about all of those Apple TV players out there?
There are very few of them. very, very few.
You didn't even play with me.
No,
play with me, James.
No.
Play with me. Yes, and.
Oh,
yes.
Well, you mean player.
Yeah, there's that one player. Yeah. Did they ever release like a game controller for it?
Oh yeah, you can use the
an
Wi-Fi.
official one.
Yeah. Well, they have like their official standard, and they have
because they talked about it, but then they sort of like backed away.
Yeah, I think it's what's it, like SteelSeries. I think they do their Nimbus range, and that's kind of the de facto standard.
Oh, just talk again for me, James. You just dropped out entirely.
Oh,
We got Wiggly Cable.
good old Wiggly Cable.
Yeah, he's back.
He's back,
and that's why I have to wear the headphones.
Yeah, good.
Otherwise,
good
people might be stuck listening to a podcast that's just me talking, and after half an hour, they might realize no one else is on the podcast.
That's there.
Yeah.
They won't hear my little oh really? My occasional probing question.
Man, I've become, I don't know, maybe it's because we've tried to do a bit of a faster pace a few times, but I've become less patient when I listen back. I am the worst. I'm a terrible active listener. You'll be talking and you'll be saying a thing, a feeling, something that's very like, it's like, Paul, I'm going to lay my heart out here. I go like, yeah, I agree. Now my point. And I don't even agree with your point. I just say, yeah. Like, so let's be on the lookout for me overly agreeing with something only so I can interject.
If Paul is agreeable, he's just
trying
he's just trying to...
Yeah, he's really nodding along to this Destiny.
No, my favorite is when you just start drawing. Yeah, they are. James just talking about Destiny.
The thing is, it's not like anyone watches, but if anyone ever did, we know people listen, but no one watches. It is deliberately for comic effect, except it's also really true. Does that make it not funny if I am actually I'm just giving James his time to talk about the things that I don't care about.
I'm going to doodle some kind of elephant penis umbrella.
The only kind of umbrella that works. So today I got solar power installed in the house.
Nice. Are we on solar power right now?
Yeah, I think so. We'll go and we can just check and see what's it generating.
Are you off the
0
grid?
watts. What the fuck? Why did we get fucking solar power?
Next, you got to get the battery.
No, you don't
need
get
to get a power
yet.
wall.
Batteries one day. Batteries not yet.
So through the day, does it power like everything?
Oh, easily. So basically, I suppose we got a 6.5 kilowatt system going through a 5 kilowatt inverter. So basically, you got that little bit of overhead there. Basically, when we plugged it in, it almost maxed out. So that's probably
Yeah.
about good. During the day, because we're not here a lot of the time, that's just feeding back to the grid, which you get a decent feed-in tariff for where we're currently in. And so, we run we'll run most of our things during the day. So, dishwashers and washing machines, stuff like that. But then also what we feed in during the day, it then compensates for what we're going to use at night.
Now,
Yes. And at the moment, at least the way that costs are lining up at the moment through most people analyzing it, and I am not an expert, I'm just taking other people's word on this, that the cost effectiveness is it's better to overproduce during the day to get that offset on what you use when there is no solar power than it is to pay for a battery. In its in the current expense, in the current lifespan of a battery, that will change in the not too distant future. But at the moment, it hasn't quite.
Do you know if the emissions from the creation of the solar panel is better than the emissions that you're saving from coal?
From what I've heard at the moment, that has quite a while ago crossed that threshold.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because I remember
know it was an issue a while ago.
It was
yeah.
I think when I was first talking about it, it was like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So that has crossed. Yes.
Yeah. Which is what also would happen. It'd be like that was like the argument for get solar anyways because supporting it. Yes. Well, that's now the emissions might not be offset.
That's also the battery thing at the moment.
Yeah.
If a battery is useful for you and you can afford it, you buying that battery and you're helping, then that goes somewhere else. It's the same people as buying like fancy electric cars. It's like, maybe you're a fancy wanker trying to show off, but also you're helping build that industry. So eventually I can buy a cheap, shitty electric car.
That doesn't.
Boy, will it be shitty.
That doesn't have epic emissions to make because they've figured out how to make it with low emissions.
Everything trickles down eventually, which kind
of
in
economics?
a way. It's not trickle down economics.
Environmental.
Trickle down consumerism.
Yeah,
maybe that works.
It trickles over everything.
Yeah,
it is like
trickle down technology.
Yeah. That does work.
Trickle down.
That tends to be how it works. You have the early adopters that go to the.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's like a phase. There's like a bell. It's a bell graph of.
It's like when Oculus came out. Everyone wasn't supposed to buy Oculus.
No. Same with the AR one, Magic Eye.
Oh, of course.
What's it called? The Magic Leap. That one.
But that thing's not. Have we even seen that properly yet? That's still not.
No, it's you can get it. You can buy it.
I thought it was only like a dev version currently.
Oh yeah, it is sort of like, but they kind of pitched it more as consumer. Like that's where it was weird and funny.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the Oculus like DK1 where it's like no, or the HoloLens where it's like no. Go buy it if you're a dev. This is like
get HoloLens too now.
We've kind of been pitching it as I'm excited for more HoloLens.
HoloLens is good. I like HoloLens. Anyway. Look, let's take, because it kind of relates in trickle-down technology and everything, to today's big announcement, which is the Google Stadia, which is their console for all intents and purposes. And it's a console that you already own, everyone already owns, and they will never make one. Because the console is anything that can basically connect to YouTube.
Like,
anything that can decode video.
I'd say the controller, but it's not even that.
Well, so there is one piece of hardware, which is the controller, which Jane mentioned, which there was a patent leak a couple of weeks ago, and someone made a render of it, and then people treated the render like the real thing and said, this shit ugly. I'm like, man, I actually, at that point, I just had to sit down and read the patent.
Yeah.
That patent is about the buttons on it. And specifically the buttons that let you push a button to instantly launch a game from the internet. And also the streaming buttons and stuff like that. The rest of the stuff is, like, whilst it did end up being the same basic like functions where the buttons are, the rest is just this is a controller and we're talking about those 4 buttons on it. So yes, this is a streaming console. So basically the concept is that you play on your phone, on your tablet, on your TV, on your computer, to the extent that you can very quickly, if you're logged into all these devices, just change device you're on basically mid-jump if you really want. Partly this is... Well, actually, I also don't see why you could be playing on all these devices simultaneously.
No, it's just a stream.
Because it is just a stream. Yeah. The controller that they're launching... that is a Wi-Fi enabled controller. It doesn't go through the device that is viewing the stream. It goes directly to the internet, to the game, and then you just watch a stream of it, basically.
Which is the genius.
Yeah. Now, on the computers, and I think there's some pairing options on some of the mobile stuff, you can use other controllers. You can use keyboard and mouse on the computer. You can use USB controllers as well. So in that case, the computer is sending the signal. But, yeah, overall, this Wi-Fi controller is... That seems to be the main draw at the moment.
I mean, the genius is that it instantly gets their... Like, if you can run YouTube on a device, you instantly get access to it.
Which is most things from the last 15 years.
I mean, I to get around platform holders and stopping you from kind of accessing these other services, like, I don't think there's anything that Apple could do that could stop. Like, they could do something, say, in the YouTube app, like stop that, like that feature being added, which launches their Stadia thing. Nothing stopping you from going to, Chrome, going to youtube.com.
Yep.
Like, there's just nothing you can do. PS4, there's nothing stopping you from just going to the web version. Like, they can't do anything. Like,
and honestly, if the YouTube's app is there, if they had too much resistance, I bet they could say, and by the way, here's your custom URL for your current stream.
Yeah,
and
like,
just go to a YouTube video
just
stream.
click it and it just opens it as a regular. Like, there's just nothing they can do. And I think that's the cleverest part of the move I've seen is that just to get it onto everything straight away. It's like this Trojan horse of just getting it on everything.
I thought that was interesting. I think it was Digital Foundry did a breakdown of the hardware, which I thought was very strange for something that doesn't exist. But it does. It has quite a specific feature set. Like it's the CPU is using the GPU, the amount of RAM available, it's shared and stuff. And I am not the person to go into that with, but it's a good video out there. But then at the same time, they then talk about it that all those aspects of the console are scalable, as in they can be multiplied and stacked. So I mentioned it earlier to James today that one of the interesting things is if you were making a AAA game and you were really, really pushing the limits of a current console, unlike a current console with Google, you could pretty much just go up to them and say, by the way, we're going to need like 20% more CPU on this. And they'll go, well, I don't know if they'll go, but they're fully capable of just saying like, okay, yeah, we can make that deal. And we have no idea how the business is going to work.
Well, this is the ultimate future-proof console.
Yes.
Like, this is the thing where if you subscribe to the service, your games will just always look better. They'll always get faster. They'll upgrade the data centers.
Yep.
It'll just always get better. You will never have to buy anything again. I mean,
you never get to end of generation where everything's struggling and trying to hold on to the next change. It's like, no, they just do the next thing.
Yep. Oh, and that thing that wasn't running so well last time
runs
real good now. I like the idea of if there is kind of scalable computation that there could be like this indie tier. Because like the vast majority of games you can get running on, like for the indie games, like, Into the Breach or something like that, that'll run on a very low-end device. So could they have like a model where it's if you want to get your game on the servers and you only need like a sliver of processing power?
Maybe you could make a deal with a bunch of other indies. Like, hey, how about we all just
share?
Yeah, we all 12 of us can take one blade. It's fine. But that stuff is up in the air. Also, the actual monetization model is up in the air.
Yeah, don't know if it's like subscription or...
I'm going to assume a subscription service, but that's nothing but an assumption. And some people, of course, pushing ad-supported ideas, which that could be a tier. It could be a Spotify.
It could be tied into Google, like YouTube Premium. I don't know.
I'm already on YouTube.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It could just be in that, for all I know.
Suddenly I've got the new Assassin's Creed. I can play it for 2 hours and then stop.
Well, this was like the cool thing is to think about, like, all right, you've got this tech, you've got this streaming. There are some downsides to it. Like, you will have input latency to some degree, which, depending on the game, is going to change.
Make more effect.
Yeah.
You are going to have some artifacting on the image.
So if there's a lot of grass or something like that, it won't be the pure crisp.
If your connection isn't good, the gaming isn't good.
If you live in Australia regional, you're basically screwed. You don't even bother. City should probably be okay.
Probably we have to test it. Yet. I don't know anyone that did the test last year
from Australia. No. So there is a lot of like limitations, which are just actually like hard science limitations. Like it takes a certain amount of time for something to get from a data center to data center.
The speed of light will not change. Exceeded.
Yeah,
at the moment.
not until they figure it out.
That's Einstein.
But like there is some hard things, which means if you want a pure like twitchy experience, you're not going to get compared to like playing on the machine where it's happening. But I think majority of consumers, it's not going to be that big a deal given like the input latency people put up with on TVs anyway.
Well, that was the thing. I can't remember who pointed it out. It might have been Carmack that just said most people don't even know there's a game mode, and the normal latency on most TVs without the game mode turned on is more than what we're talking about with the latency in here. Because other than Assassin's Creed, Doom Eternal was the other game that was shown off.
Yeah.
Which is, and those are the only two games we know that are coming. And as we said, we don't know what format. Do you buy the game? Do you subscribe? Do you watch an ad after you kill every demon? That would be terrible.
Well, so there's also like all these kind of flow-on effects. Well, what else
Yeah.
can you do with this tech? So the kind of stuff they're talking about, they've talked about is like, say you're watching a streamer, and the streamer is at a particular point of the game, and it's like, I want to play from there. You just hit a button.
Yeah.
And, you fork it off, and you play from where they're playing.
I read that 2 days ago, and I was like, this is a hellscape. I hate this. And then I saw them... I mean, they didn't even like show it for real. They just showed a game playing and then talked about it. And I'm like, oh wait, that's fucking cool. Like, especially if it's like an open world game, like there's something interesting going on, and go like, oh, this looks like a fun scenario.
You hit the button, you play it.
You just okay, I'm just gonna get in.
Suddenly, a let's play makes a lot more sense to me because it might be that I'm interested in a game, say like Assassin's Creed or something.
Oh my god!
I can just watch it at any point. Go, oh, I want to play this part.
I don't imagine it currently possible, but what if you could do that with a recorded Let's Play?
I don't see why you couldn't. Like,
you'd have to have the state being saved all the time.
Yeah, you're right. Like, there might be something, but maybe it's snapshot.
James is very excited.
Maybe it's snapshots, every minute or something like that. Like,
because that would,
there's a potential there to do stuff.
That's like, that just opened my mind, like, to a lot of terrible shit, but also a lot of like fucking like, imagine like doing the I'm doing a playthrough. I'm gonna think of it as a linear game, and you're at a boss, and you're like looking up how to beat this boss, and you're watching the video, and you go like, this is a bunch of bullshit, and then they beat the boss, and you're like, you know what? I'm
gonna have a go at that boss.
No. Just say no. I'm just gonna skip it. Boom, keep...
Yeah. I mean, also like if you're watching a trailer, like say like Division 2 or something like that, it's like a trailer, and like that looks interesting. Hit a button, play it.
Yep.
Here have 3 hours of Division 2. Go have a play. Like there is just so many cool things that I can see that they could do with this. That's
other benefits. Multiplayer games. They sort of point out that, the biggest problem with multiplayer games is the fact that we are all on our own connections in different places. And those connections vary and such. 100 player limit is sort of where the highlight of most things. It's been exceeded a few times, but primarily if it's an action game, we've really pushed that with the Battle Royale genre. But now it's like, no, it's 100 clients all in the same data center, all just talking to each other instantly. And we're just seeing the streams of it.
No, that's actually like... That
So when it comes to like an indie wanting to do a multiplayer game, let's like you do network work, like you've done lots of network systems.
This has got me excited because I was just thinking about I've written netcode. Writing netcode is very complicated. Hard. You have to deal with you really appreciate relativity when you start writing netcode. You want time to be squishy. It's not
like so LAN code, local area network. Generally, from my understanding, I have written some.
It is a bit easier.
It's a bit easier. But
if it's basically just couch play.
What if it's couch play? Like basically, it's 4 people on the same running thing. It's just 4 different streams coming out.
That's where it gets easier. Because if you just want to go effectively multiple cameras looking into a world, that's super easy. Because you don't have to worry about any synchronization. No. And so if now a massive game is simply cameras looking into a scene and you're just getting your own perspective, that's much simpler.
Open city, so open world, city game, destructible city, all that stuff's handled on super fucking Google computers.
Don't worry any synchronization whatsoever.
Like co-op sort of things. Like, okay, I'm obviously just making up a bunch of shit here, but that's the only way that sort of thing can happen. Like this kind of infrastructure. And the thing, like, this is a big change in gaming. We're not owning things. We can't preserve things the way they were. If you don't have good connections, you're fucked. But at the same point, it is giving us access to things we didn't have before. And like I mentioned, even just small things there, making things like multiplayer easier for small developers to do. And then the things like, we're saying the jump in thing, they're talking about, you're watching a streamer and they're playing a game and you don't take that game and do your own. It's multiplayer. You just instantly join up with their game. It's social, it's scalable, it's got a lot of promise. Yeah. And it could be the worst thing ever, but it also could be amazing. I think it's going to be really... And it is the future. Yeah. Like, we know Microsoft's doing it. Sony already does it, just not very well. Nintendo even does it.
Yeah.
Because if you're not aware of that, in Japan, you can play Resident Evil 7 and Assassin's Creed... It was Odyssey, wasn't it? Yeah, I think it was Odyssey
Odyssey,
on Switch, but through a streaming service.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all there. What I was projecting last week, and I was anticipating what Microsoft's E3 keynote is going to be. and it's kind of already been stolen a little bit by Google. But my projection was like, we're here to announce the Xbox One 2.
Yep.
I still haven't thought of a good name for whatever that's going to be, but it's going to be impressive. And then they go, and you already own it, and it's out now, and you can play Halo Infinite on it right now.
Yeah.
And then they say, now, this is just a beta at the moment. There will be actual hardware coming out at the end of this year or next year sometime. We are testing the system with a beta for Halo on it, so it's still not all there. But it's just like, right now, even on your 360, you could and play the next generation of their shooter today, and just, if they had that infrastructure there and that ability to do that, like, I have nothing telling me that was what they would do.
No.
This is just a fantasy poll thing. But I'm like, that's a way to do like the Dreamcast. It's out today, but in an actual way that
like,
makes
it's
business
like
sense.
If you go
and
down
super impressive.
If you go to the cash converters and get like an Xbox 360,
you can just play Xbox
just,
One 2 games.
You just plug it in and like, hey, you're on the service now.
Yeah. And it's like, you'll be able to run it locally later because there's still a big market for that. Like, we've got, this is probably the last typical console generation.
I would think so,
with the exception of Nintendo, which I think will probably get a few more iterations.
Yeah, I think Nintendo being a toy company, it's hard. Like, they will keep making toys, and I don't think going fully streaming fits what they do.
Yeah, and I think there will be physical options, but I think they're going to get about grayer. There's going to be iterations of the same thing, and they're going to be, well, you can play these ones on there, but if you want to play that one that's online, we'll end up having a sticker, and eventually they stop putting the sticker because every game needs it, and by that point, we're 15 years in the future, and everyone has fucking amazing 7G internet all the time, and it doesn't matter anymore. Except for then we have the niche communities where it will always matter, your local fighting game people and stuff like that.
There was I think about maybe like almost 10 years ago now, I was having a conversation with someone at a pub about where is gaming going in about 10 to 15 years. And it came down to two directions for me. I can see either internet gets good enough that you can stream everything, or technology is cheap enough that you can just...
You don't need to.
And it seems to be leaning more towards the streaming than the technology to a point. Like, I don't think that the streaming stuff is going to completely come and like surpass and supplant all gaming.
I think it's going to take over AAA.
Yes, I think anything with pushing graphical edge, I think it'll take it over. I think there'll always be an enthusiast market that people, because everyone's still going to have a computer or a mobile phone.
Yeah.
So people will have stuff. And I think there'll always just be a market for just playing stuff on the device, because why not?
Because I think we're reaching that point now with these supercomputers that we hold in our pockets. More and more people are... anecdotally, I've heard some things, but not that I have stats off my head, that people are holding on to their old stuff longer because the whole cycle of replacing that shit every 1 or 2 years is just starting to piss people off and wear people down.
Well, there's also very diminishing returns.
Yeah, exactly. There was like this golden age where every time was exciting, and now it's like I replace it because my old one broke, and then you want to go like, oh, this is more responsive. Yeah, and then it's effectively exactly the same thing. And
chances are you could just replace the battery in it and it'd be more responsive again anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where we're getting, I think.
Yeah. Well, even like myself, like I'd say I'm generally like to have kind of decent tech.
Yeah, I'd make fun of you for it.
Yeah. But even like I've slowed right down. Like, this is an iPhone 7. I expect I'll have that for at least another 2 or 3 years.
What are they up to?
They just released the 10.
Isn't
X.
it? There's 8 and X.
They were
at the
X,
same sort of time.
But I'm not even really keeping up with it. But I was just thinking it's anything after the X, but no, that's not. But yeah, like this is fun. This is functional. Even my Apple Watch, right? This is like the Series 2, like it's the second one, and it's the waterproof one. Which
How many
as far
have there
as
been?
I want. I think they're up to 4 now.
That's a lot of Apple Watches.
Yeah. So like, I think even as someone who is a tech enthusiast, I've really slowed down.
We call them enthusiasts. Yeah. So Google Stadia and Microsoft.
XS, Carol. I thought there was another kind of tier after
but
the X. Thanks,
it's
Carl.
not smaller, isn't it? Because previously the S was like the cut down cheap, and the S is like the better version when it comes to the X series.
Yeah, well, there's like the XR and then the X. That's right. And the XR, I believe, is the more budget model of the X. And then there's the 8.
Not the S, the way that it was previously used. They use it again, but in the opposite way.
Everything. But they have...
Fucking naming of everything.
They have been keeping this kind of branch of iPhone, which is just the classic, like... Because they know there are people like me that don't actually want the X. They like this.
Yeah.
And I just want a faster version of that.
Remember when it was like GeForce 2? I think they had GeForce 3. And then it's like, now what we need is numbers. I don't know what any of the numbers are. No, I don't think it's even saying the number is bigger isn't always right.
No.
Generally, yeah, they're bigger. But then if it's different brands of things, they have entirely different. And I mean, I'm a photographer. I've been in cameras.
The numbers just get bigger, right?
No.
Oh, I thought they did.
No.
Oh.
It's normally the, and then especially like with the Canon stuff. The Canon stuff is like the number of digits is sort of the range of it. So if it's a single digit, it's more of a pro level. If it's 2 digits, it's enthusiast, and if it's 3 digits, it's pretty down there. So those numbers go up. So, but then they'll have extensions on all those things, and it's easy enough if you're paying attention. But if you don't, it's like, oh, I mean, there's a 1 here, but that's $4,000. But this 700, that's only $800. It's the higher number and it's cheaper. Why would I?
Oh, whenever I have to buy a new PC, I'm always really confused, and it takes months of research.
I don't fucking know any.
Because when I was in high school, I'd keep up with hardware.
Yeah, we generally do.
But I think no, I don't care. Like, once I have a computer, I am not looking at anything until I'm buying another one.
Exactly.
And in that time, I have to look and like, what's this? What are we up to? What's happened to the gigahertz? Have they stopped going up? I think they stopped going up.
I remember when
I was more cores.
When I was buying this new computer, I was like, hey, where's all my triple channel RAM? And everyone looked at me like I was an insane person. It's like, Paul, that was like a flash in the fan. Flash in the pan. That's the sentence. Like 5 years ago. What are you talking about? The triple channel. It's 3. There's 3 of them. It's like Mario Twins, but one more.
Should I have SLI? No, the answer is no. SLI was never a good idea.
Now we just use Google Stadia.
Yeah,
for
now
we
we don't have to worry about any of that.
We can just stack them forever, apparently.
They just go and turn up the number dial to go
Finally,
more
we'll get
power,
the real
please.
Crackdown 3.
That would be the best launch for their from Xboxes.
Yeah. They do all the destruction. Yeah. It's called Crackdown 3-2. For realsies.
That's what they've been saving. That's what they've been saving it
for realsies. Yeah. We just tricked you. The one we released was just a joke. Anyone that bought it was just a joke. Sorry. Goodness gracious. Okay, so let's talk about some straight up video games. I've been playing a game that I've been anticipating a long time, and that game is Bubba Is You. And Bubba Is You has been a long time coming. It is a puzzle game made by a single developer whose name escapes me because I'm terrible with people's names if you've never noticed. And the concept is simply it's a grid-based game. You can push things around. But all the rules for the level are physically represented on the board. So Bubba Is You is a reference to a little creature called Bubba. And that's one tile. And then is a tile. And you is another tile, denoting that you, the player character, is controlling Bubba. Now you could also then push the word for rock where Bubba is. And then it says rock is you. And now you're playing the rock. You could also just push Bubba away from there and just says is you, and you is nothing, and you is lost the level because you is nothing, buddy.
I was just actually wondering what would happen if you got rid of the...
Oh, there are lots of things that just straight up end the level. Yeah. It's like you is defeat. That's not going to work too well. So it gets a little bit of comparison to Steven's Sausage Roll. And I am here going to point out why I think this game is far superior to something like Steven's Sausage Roll. So Steven's Sausage Roll is a Sokoban style game, which is, about manipulating geometry, pushing things. And now that's a game where you have to think a long way ahead, work out what the puzzle is, work it out. But then the execution is... most of the time, every move matters. And if you made a move wrong 50 moves ago and you didn't notice, you have to go back and do the whole fucking thing again. This is a game about working out the concepts of moving those words around. So normally, if you're supposed to manipulate words, there is enough space around them to give you at least a block or two of wiggle room. So you don't need to be very... sometimes there'll be specific pushing puzzles, but normally that's because that's what the puzzle's about. Yeah. But most of the time, it's... we give you some extra space. We let you move around. The puzzle is mostly about working out the logic of the puzzle, and trust me, you'll fucking need that, because this game gets hard fast. But not so much the execution. Execution's still some difficulty, but that's not the main difficulty of it. Which means if you can work out the idea, you'll be able to execute most of the time first time round. Other than that, there's just a back button, just undo any move all the way back to the beginning of the game, and also just a fast reset button. So normally, if you make a huge mistake, because you can push a block to somewhere you can't push it out, but those rules are pretty clear.
Yeah.
Like if a block starts in the corner, like, well, obviously you're never supposed to be able to move it because you can't push it anywhere. Unless pull comes into play, which is a block that appears in the game. But it's also like every level basically brings a new concept. And that
How many levels are there?
200.
It's a lot of levels.
I've done 50 something now. On the first day I did 40 or so. And then my progress slowed down to a crawl.
That's quite a spike.
I was doing 1 or 2 levels a day.
Yeah.
And then I remembered why this game's also good. I get a bit completionist with puzzle games. You don't have to be. As you are, so it's sort of an overworld map. You go into an area. You start off, there might be 1 or 2 puzzles you can do. As you do them, it opens up more puzzles. There might be, say, 16, 20 puzzles in an area. You need to complete 8 to move on to the next area.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So whilst there's obviously rewards for doing all the puzzles, you can keep going. Like, if there's something that stumps you, that's fine. There's other puzzles to do. And there's multiple paths on it as well. So even if some area is giving you trouble, go to a different area for a while.
Is it anything like The Witness where you can be stumped by something until you learn more about it and you can go back and do it?
Not really. Yes, in that you will just... the game seems very well paced so far in that it does just seem to get progressively harder as I go along. And sometimes I'll forget about an earlier mechanic I did or something. But typically I haven't discovered anything that something else had to teach me first.
Okay.
I could do either one first, and all the logic required to work that out was already in that level. Because The Witness was like, they'll just give you a blank slate and say, fix it. And you're like, I don't understand what I'm even trying to fix. And then you have to sort of go and find the panels leading up to it. And then
you
explains
understand it and you go back. And
but no, this is, basically there's a really early level, which is like a special marked level. It's like, is this the way out or something? And I opened it up. I looked at all the words, many of which I've never seen before. All of which I could understand what they do, but I hadn't played with before. I looked at it and went, fuck this. And I left and I haven't tried it again.
Yeah.
So I guess in that case, there's like really tough stuff put early.
If you want
but
to. Yeah.
if you have the mental fortitude and you just want to like work on something for a while, there's nothing that says you can't. All the information needed to solve that puzzle is in that puzzle. It's just, it was too much for me at that point. I'm like, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
My body is not prepared. Because it's still like, even because each world has, as I said, like 16 or 20 puzzles, but then there's also special ones underneath which are upping the difficulty. So you do the first one, then it unlocks the second one, and even on like the first world, the first one was fine. The second one, I'm like, what? There's like 3 options and none of them help me, and I went back to it day after day with no idea until eventually just like, wait, can I? And now it's a technique that I can use sort of anywhere, but it was always there, and it didn't not teach me that. It just was getting me to do it in a way I hadn't thought about before. It's if you are into puzzles, logic puzzles, especially lateral thinking, this is a no-brainer, this game.
Yeah, because this one has definitely interested me a lot more than, say, like Steven Sausage Roll.
Because, the worst thing with Steven Sausage Roll was that fixed progression.
Yeah.
You didn't get all the levels? Fuck you.
Well, it's also
End of game.
that kind of puzzle I don't find particularly interesting. Like when it's just like a geometric puzzle about moving something around, looking ahead, I don't find that. It almost is like a memory kind of thing, or like
to a degree.
Yeah, like it's like it's visualizing ahead and then remembering where you were. Like,
and don't get me wrong, there's some clever ass shit in that game, but it is. It's very stressful and taxing all the time.
So it's the kind of puzzle I'll look at and go, nah, like this is effort.
Oh,
but if it's understanding a concept and like finding a solution and then going, I want the aha moment, and then go, right, now I can solve it. And that's what I want. The moment I have the aha, I can solve it. I don't want to be like, okay, and this needed to be over here 15 moves ago. Okay, fine.
No, you need to learn to unlock a wall with a starfish. Which is literally something you do. But actually then on the structure, I guess, so each world, they have progressive, like even just the normal levels are progressively harder, which means the hardest levels of the previous world are harder than the starting levels of the next world.
Ah, like a staggered difficulty.
So you basically go like, oh, it's getting harder. Move on. Okay, it's a bit easier again. And then you sort of like, and it's all increasing, but it gives you that little break as well.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I loaded up a level and there's only 3 verbs here. Great. It's a small working space. I can work through it. This is great.
The technical term is flow.
Yes, yeah, it's got very good flow.
Yeah.
And every once in a while I just go play something else that's dumb. Including very brief. So Bubba is You, if you haven't heard the game.
Yeah, I've been getting pretty tempted to pick it up. Like from what you've described, like because I think I'm really bad for like I'll get like a press release on a game, and I will judge it so fast. And if a lot of the time I'll look at it and go, this is for Paul. It's not for James. Like I just don't care, and I'll just like I'll kind of move on. Like, is there an RPG system in here? No, I don't.
Where is the loot?
Where's the loot in this game? Not interested.
We got it. Did you get the special email from one of our PR reps yesterday? Or the day before? Not saying who it was. The subject was just D the fucking website, and it was meant to be sent to themselves, and they instead sent it to their media list, and it made me so happy.
Yeah.
He's a really good guy. And I'm just like, this is the kind of mistake I enjoy.
Yep.
I'm sure everyone was fine with it.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't nothing scandalous, just very funny.
He was probably
in my inbox.
very thankful there was nothing scandalous.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I just kind of skipped over it. But then once you started talking about it, I went and like, oh, this actually... I assume you're playing this on Switch.
I'm playing it on Switch. It's also on PC. That's all at the moment, I believe. But yeah, it's a great little Switch game. But weirdly, one of the dumb games I'm playing, to like, oh, I need to cool down from Bubba Is You, is a puzzle game on the Switch.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. Which one's that?
It's originally, I think it's an iOS originally. It's called Golf Peaks. Okay. So basically, it's just it's a golf game. You got to get the ball in the hole. The world is divided into grid, but it's a set puzzle of order of operations. You're just given a bunch of cards. And those cards are like, okay, this is a chip, 2 spaces left. This is like a chip, 2 spaces, and then you can choose which direction it goes. So it's just about working what order you have to play the cards to get it geometric. And it's very set. There's no physics involved. It's just, okay, here's a weird world. Which cards do you play in which direction to get through it? Done. It's solid, satisfying. It's a nice little look. I think it's only like $5, I think.
There's a lot of cheap stuff on Switch.
Yeah. But I mean, this is like a very solid thing as well. Because I heard people talking about it when it was iOS. I'm like, I'm going to get it on Android. And it wasn't. It might be now. I haven't checked. But yeah, I was like, I could play this on Switch. This seems like a fun idea. And it's puzzly enough that I have to think about things sometimes, but dumb enough that I don't have to think about it like Bubba Is You. It's the different kinds of puzzle games.
Does Bubba Is You make you feel like an idiot?
No, I don't think so. I've never had a solution where you're like, oh, of course. It's been... I go like, oh, shit, I overlooked it. I guess I've been... But not feeling like I'm dumb. I just feel like it's a hard puzzle. You're like, oh, yeah. I've been focused so much on this other stuff. I totally ignored the obvious solution. It's just been very satisfying. As I say, it does get mentally taxing after a while. And the fact that I'm only, 50-something levels and there are 200 and they get progressively harder.
That's a lot of levels.
It's a lot of puzzles. My only worry is, and this is my only caveat on the game, is that if they're getting progressively harder, that thing that I was saying earlier about the solutions being conceptual, not about tight execution, will that change?
Well, yeah, like there will be at some point where they're going to exhaust the systems. I would think.
You'd think.
Maybe not. Like if this stays fresh through 200 levels, I am super impressed. And maybe given that it uses language, there's a bit more room. It uses language,
so there's a lot of other objects, a lot of other ideas you can throw in. Like you just go, okay, here's a new idea. It's explode.
Does it go down like the metaphor path at all, or anything like that? Or does it stay fairly literal?
It's very literal. Yeah.
I'm just wondering,
but that's kind of something.
Like, will they go like puns or something at some point? Like, would there be any given that they have language? Will it kind of is that where the additional?
Probably not, because one of the things that you quickly learn is that the metaphor, the literal meaning of what a sprite is completely meaningless. So you have a door and a key, and you go and push the key to the door. It does nothing because those things don't have the rules that do that. So it's like
door unlock or key unlocks door or something, or
it would have key is unlock, but it also would have key is open and its door is closed.
Gotcha.
Something needs to be so. But if those two things aren't true, putting a key at a door does nothing.
Yes.
But as I said before, you could use a starfish to unlock a wall. Depending on where you're, so you can be tricked into the wrong thinking by the sprites they choose to put out there because
okay, I understand. So like I don't, because we didn't really do much to describe actually what the game looks like. It's a very kind of minimalistic art style.
Hideous.
It doesn't see it. That's one of the reasons I flicked past it really quickly.
It's a very very basic pixel art, very programmer art.
But then when I watched the video of it, I was like, okay, it's fairly readable. Like I kind of,
it's super readable. That's what's good about it.
When I actually saw it in motion, I'm like, okay, no, this looks all right. But it's so you've got like sprites and then verbs, isn't it? And you're basically
well, you got sort of objects, and then you can have is and is there there's a few different joining, and then there's
so it's not even verbs, is it? It's more what are they like?
Well, they're like operations.
What are the joiner words called?
I'm not good at joiner.
No, what's
grammar? Let's just call them joiner words.
Conjugations.
I'm not going.
I don't know. Hey, chat.
Hey, grammar. Fix that grammar.
Yeah, like is a and what are they? What are they called? Anyway, those things. Yeah, and then so it's more you get the concepts of them. Oh, but you might have like open, right? So there'll still be like
or it could be a state.
Yeah.
Also, so it could be is.
It's very hard to describe with that, like, because it's clear in my head because I've seen the video, but it's like a block game, except the blocks are chains of objects, some kind of connector, and a state.
Yes,
it's sort of what it is, and the game is a block puzzle where you're moving around images or symbols, connector, state,
and then also just geometrically moving yourself. Yeah. Sometimes the trick is that the level's actually quite easy, but you just need to move through it in the right way. And you're just looking at all the words going, how do I change this? It's like, just move that one and then walk to the end.
Yeah, so there's a room for you to overcomplicate it significantly.
So here's there's at least one, and you can actually do it. It's one of the things that you often will do, which is there's something is win. So there's always something that's win.
Mm-hmm.
But you can just say that, so Bubba is you, and then you can put also then, because you can go vertically as well, Bubba is win, and you instantly win because you are Bubba.
Yeah.
So you don't need to touch it. And sometimes it's changing the whole world state and stuff like that. It's like, this level is win, which isn't a thing. But basically, that's what you do sometimes.
And I'm just trying to think, like, with the long-term legs of this game, I think the clever thing is because it's using language and states. Like, there is a lot of room there.
There's a lot of room for conceptual.
And so I actually wouldn't be surprised if it actually does say, because it's basically a word game.
Yeah.
The
art is incredibly quick to do as well.
Yeah.
Because all the word stuff is like basically.
It's a sentence game. It's not a word game. It's a sentence game. It's also a block puzzle game.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting concept, and I think I've just sold myself on picking it up because it's just like from a design perspective, it's quite fascinating.
Very cool. Okay, before we get into some of James's stuff, let's run through the rest of the news real quick. I don't have too much
off topic anyway, so let's talk about the news.
Okay, so we've got a big announcement from Microsoft this last week, which is Halo Master Chief Collection is coming to PC.
Yep.
They also specified it is coming to Steam. I assume it's also coming to Windows Store.
I would think so.
But stranger things has happened.
Yeah, and this is that surprised me. Well, I was surprised it came to PC, but given the nature of Microsoft, I'm not.
I mean, they've been talking about it for a while, so I wasn't shocked.
Coming to Steam did
surprise
shock me. Like, oh, okay. I mean, cool. That's great.
I figured it would just be part of Game Pass.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. They aren't releasing all of them at once.
No,
they are adding in Reach into the collection because Reach isn't part of the original Master Chief Collection,
and it's the first one that's going to be.
And they're releasing it chronologically, so it'll be Reach 1, 2, 3, 4, and I presume 5, and then
they haven't said what's the other one called.
Infinity.
No. There's one other Halo.
ODST.
Yeah, that's not part of it yet.
Because I thought ODST was part
Unless
of
it's
Master
another
Chief
one.
Collection, because I think that might.
There's one that's still missing.
Yeah, maybe it isn't totally. Because chronologically, actually, I don't know where. Maybe my statement of his chronological might not be true, because I think ODST is pre-Reach. I think. I don't know. I'm not that good on my Halo lore. Someone in chat will know.
Well, I went to say list of Halo games, but my phone said lost of Hello games. So that's not going to help me.
But I actually don't mind the idea of them releasing it on a schedule.
Oh, I think that's fine.
I'm cool to just play a Halo game. Like, if I can buy it for $60, whatever it costs.
I can play it and co-op it, and we can play, like, oh, let's do a few hours of co-op.
Yeah.
And we'll do it for a year.
Yeah.
We'll play once a month for a year or
Hey,
something.
The best thing about Master Chief Collection is when you get to the shitty levels, you can just skip them. Like, you don't have... Because, like, there's the library in Halo 1 when I was playing with Cheryl. We just skipped it. It's like, nah, I'm not going to bother with that bullshit. So, yeah, you can just kind of get through it that way.
List of Halo games. Included in the list is Destiny. Yeah, it just must be.
Kala
ODST.
said that ODST is during 3. So it's sort of like a side story of 3.
Well, that's
Thanks,
fascinating. Yeah, I'm going to pick that up. So you can either buy it piecemeal or buy the whole package.
Yeah.
Which will just be a pretty standard AAA price for mobile, I believe.
That's going to be exciting. Yeah, it's going to be go back, play some Halo 1 again, go back to some more Blood Gulch and Sidewinder.
In some more playing old games news, they're re-releasing Castle Crashers on the Switch and stuff.
Okay.
I think it's also on PS4. And when people said, why don't you just make Castle Crashers 2? So, unless we've got something new to say, we don't want to go back to the same ideas. So let's release the same game for the 7th time. I loved Castle Crashers, but I feel... I think I own it 3 times.
Yeah, I don't think
I played through
it once.
And the other ones are just like they came in bundles and shit. It was a great game, and it probably still plays fine. But yeah, they haven't really done a whole Behemoth, like, because they had Battle Block Theater and what was the Pit People?
Yeah, Pit People. I haven't played either of those two.
I
think I played Battle Block.
You definitely have played Battle Block.
Yeah,
you played it with me,
I
and we
did
all
play
looked at it and said, like, what is this game?
Yeah.
We don't even get it. Yeah, but Castle Crashers was good. Ian, some more controversial.
There's a new game coming from Butterscotch Shenanigans, who did Crashlands.
I haven't played Crashlands.
I'm trying to remember the title of the game. I should have thought about this before I started talking about it. But they're doing a basically Mario Maker.
Okay.
So it's like a Level Head. I think it's called. A Level Head.
I think I don't know. I think I've seen it, but I don't know enough about it to say anything about it.
And they're going for, like, while Mario Maker is going to be making Mario levels, this is going to be a little bit more maybe Metroidvania kind of making. So I guess like a little bit meatier with like a kind of like the whole experience.
A little meteor.
A little bit of Metroid. No, I'm not going to go there. That didn't work at all.
No, I don't know what you're trying to say.
No.
Metroidior.
But yeah, just like in that, I was just trying to think of like games with that kind of like caliber of like Castle Crashers, people doing interesting things. Butterscotch Shenanigans are kind of, I think, doing what I would like to see the Castle Crashers.
You saying that you
doing.
think Crashlands is up there with Castle Crashers and Alien Hominid?
Yes.
Okay, that seems like a fair opinion, and I can't judge it. I haven't played it. Seems like a fair assumption. Okay, now let's get into some controversy.
Oh,
dun, 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 dun.
Controversy.
I like controversy. I think this is the new controversy.
That was my plan. That was my plan.
Son of a bitch. And you know what?
Yeah.
I would actually normally say, no, I can't even say it, controversy. But I thought I'd be a little bit fancy.
Yeah, it's a controversy.
Yeah, for funs. But you've sucked all the fun out of the room.
I ruined it.
Like you normally do. And unfortunately, that's the only thing you suck. Just fun.
Yep.
Fun and hope. James, the joy vampire.
Yeah.
Get these in my hair. The bat wings. Okay, Phoenix Point, which is on your most anticipated list. You idiot.
Was.
Oh, you're going to was. Okay. We'll get into that. The crowdfunded game on Fig announced this week that they too are joining the group of games that are going Epic exclusive. Now, we've had some discussion about the nature of exclusives in PC, and there's a few different opinions on that. That's right. This is a slightly different case.
Not to be a little bit racist, but there is also the Tencent interests that are in Epic, which do legitimately concern me. Like, them Chinese governments can have their fingers in all kinds of things, and they're not afraid to use their fingers in businesses to collect data.
No, you just joined my Huawei modem.
Maybe it's not, but I
done.
do get a little concerned about my privacy.
Well, don't worry. We've got the same laws in this country now. They can worry about China and Australia. We're all terrible spies. But so there are some issues with Epic Store and it not having the same functionality. Here is more of a direct thing of it being a Kickstarter game that was Fig. It's Kickstarter, not on Kickstarter, on Fig, where it was a game that was promised as a Steam and a GOG game. So GOG is also a very specific thing to promise. And now those people are still getting their Steam and GOG versions in a year after the exclusivities come out. Yep. But they get 2 versions because they get the Epic Store version and then they get that later. So that seemed a bit of a wipe. But then also I don't know, this was just what jumped to me. Fig is a platform that has actual investors. So depending on the terms of this deal, if an investor feels like they've gone back on the original proposed business deal to go a different avenue, which they think has not resulted in as much profit, are they then opening themselves up to being sued with it? Would you be pissed? I'm sure those contracts have a lot of things. I have no thing, but I'm like, that just sounds like a bunch of stuff I wouldn't want to deal with. So they did offer the option for people to refund. And a lot of people said they refunded, but it's always hard to know how much of a community that actually is. Because people don't release that sort of stat. And whilst it might be some very prolific people, that might be 100 out of 10,000.
Yeah.
So
I think all this has really done is just made me less interested in it as someone
in the game.
Like it's because we live in a time where there is a squillion awesome games.
There are amazing games every day,
and even like the kind of genre they're going after. I still haven't finished. What was the spy one I was playing? Phantom Doctrine. Yeah. I still haven't finished that, and actually, the time I played with it, I really loved it. So it's like, well, I have this game now, which is kind of the same genre. It's a bit more kind of pedigree where it comes from, but I'm sure this, it's not going to be leaps and bounds better than the other options I have, or even just finishing XCOM 2 or something like that. So it's not like the weird thing about the stuff I see Epic getting is they're not getting the must-haves.
No,
they're getting the nice-to-haves. They're getting the mid-tier, and I kind of get that. They want to build up their catalog.
But they got Division 2.
They did get the Division 2, so that's probably one of the biggest ones they got.
Yes.
I imagine that also just pushed a whole bunch of people to Uplay. Like if you're making a decision where you're going to buy it from.
No, well, here that was the thing that I was just checking. I don't know if you can even buy it from Uplay after the launch.
I'm sure you can.
You could before it, but I thought that once the pre-orders closed, you couldn't.
Or
I'm just going to check
because I'm pretty sure you can.
Continue your thought while I check.
Yeah. So like those kind of they pick up these mid-tier games that none of them are particularly system sellers. Like they're the kind of games where I'm just perfectly content to wait. Like especially if it's timed exclusivity, it's not like they're doing anything to push me to kind of buy in to their service, and they just seem to be, I don't know, like burning goodwill. Because now when it comes to Phoenix Point, I'm less interested. I give fewer shits because it's kind of I don't like their business practices. Is it? I'm sure you can still get it.
I mean, I feel like it would be insane if you couldn't.
Like, I don't see why.
Yeah,
Ubisoft to do that.
Yeah, I can straight up buy it. I don't know what. Maybe it was on other things you couldn't buy it.
Yeah, because I bought it off
because key resellers couldn't sell it.
Yeah, because I bought mine off Humble. That's right. Because I got like a bonus.
Yeah, you might not be able to do it on services like that.
Yeah, so they stopped selling immediately on release. Like, so they at least let it go up until that point. Yeah, and it's like, okay, now you have to buy it from here.
I knew that would be too insane.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's because I don't know how well this strategy is going to kind of actually work. I don't know if getting exclusivities is actually helping them or not. Like, rather than just being another option.
I guess we'll have to see after a year or so.
I mean, we'll see.
Because to me, it is most of these games being the mid-tier sort of things, and that I don't jump out and get games that quickly anyway most of the time, other than things I'm super interested in. They're all games that can wait for me anyway.
Yeah, that's
but
the sort of
at the same time, Epic is part of their store philosophy. Don't believe in sales. So
unless you've got full exclusivity, like when it does, you're like when it leaves exclusivity, then why would you buy it from the store? Then
that's not going to give me a discount on it. It's like it's a year old. We'll see. Yeah, I feel like they're going to have to change that philosophy once these exclusives stop being exclusive because I'm not going to buy Phoenix Point for $40 plus in a year.
Yeah. I think like if you're going to soak the cost, like if they want to get people on their platform, just imagine if it was just cheaper. It's like we're going to give a bigger cut to the devs and we're going to be $10 cheaper. It's like, well, fine. Like I'll pay less money to have it on the other store. Mm-hmm. Every game you buy, you get $10 credit.
buy-in consumer.
Yeah.
Especially if they're having the don't believe in sales stuff.
Yeah.
Customer loyalty stuff
Yeah.
could be things that they can then take advantage
Yeah.
of. So, but they're not really doing that yet.
Yeah.
There's very little bonus for the consumer. Well, at least it developed in all these deals what they get other than just the signed deal, and some of them have had some cash, some of them haven't, but they do get guaranteed sales.
Yeah.
So they basically mean that everyone in that company is guaranteed to have a job for another year. They have that money guaranteed. If it does better, great. If it doesn't, they get released on another store afterwards anyway. So I can see why you would be tempted to do it, of course. But I feel, especially in this case, it was pretty disrespectful for the people that made the game exist in the first place.
Because there are other games on the Epic Store which I've been eyeing up of, like, if it's exclusive on there, like Rebel Galaxy
2,
whatever, Outlaw or whatever it's called.
Or
I'll probably pick that up. It looks good. Or the Outer Worlds, not Wilds.
Oh, is Outer Worlds on there too? Because Outer Wilds is on there.
Outer Wilds, I get the two confused.
But I don't know if that's exclusive. I just don't know.
It might be exclusive. It might be. But like those kinds of things where it's like the new upcoming things, they've gone, especially something like Rebel Galaxy 2, where it's like they've probably gone, here's a big pile of cash. Make your game, put it on ours exclusively. They
don't even need the big pile of cash. If a developer wants to go, you know what, I want to go on a smaller game store that has less things to look at, I can get a bit more prolific. Done. I'm just going to release on there for now.
Yep.
See how it goes. No problem.
Yeah.
100% go for it. It's these ones that are like...
It's the Metros. It's the Phoenix
weird
Points.
sort of bait and switchy.
Yeah, it's the Division 2s. Like, it's swooping in and just picking up these titles that is the problem.
The Division 2 one's still a bit different as well. It's just a bit
weird.
That one was weird.
It's just really, really weird. Like, I don't know what was in that for Ubisoft apart from undermining Steam. Maybe their thought was all this will be more purchases through our store, because I expect there is now a bump through Uplay just buying it direct.
Yeah, because I mean you have to use Uplay anyway, so that's probably what a lot of people go. It's like, I can't get it on Steam, I may as well get it on Uplay.
I'm starting to get a few games on Uplay now.
Yeah.
I've actually
So yeah, let's tick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Weird epic stuff.
So EA have announced that they're not doing a conference at E3 this year, which is sort of what in the last few years, because EA haven't been part of E3 for a while. They do their own thing just at the same time. So they're not...
We're not part of E3. We're having our own E3.
Blackjack and
hookers.
But now they're not having the conference. But what they do seem to be doing is doing a more Nintendo thing.
Yeah.
So having like lots of streamers the whole time and the EA Play event still on and stuff like that. So I don't think it's going to be drastically different. We'll still get EA news. We just won't. I just won't get up at 2 a.m. and watch an hour and a half long live stream whilst being online and saying, "Hey, is anyone else up? Hey, James, you want to get up and?"
Not really.
We could live talk this. Do an episode live. James.
I'm actually kind of cool if we get away from this need to like do everything live with these announcements. Yes,
I like doing it live. It's
they
fun.
can be fun. Like if it's maybe this year. I don't know if anything.
Okay. How about instead of trying to like live stream and watch and get on board, we do it like people that do an Oscar party. The night before, we turn off all of our internets, and then we get together the day afterwards with some beers and some snacks, and then we just blind watch the conferences in one sitting.
That sounds so much better.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
I mean, you may technically be on your honeymoon this year.
Sure, I'll understand.
Well, check the dates.
That actually sounds great. So if you can just wait like a week.
James, I would physically die. Like, I don't fanboy over much. My desire to my need to know things very soon after they're announced at E3 is perhaps one of the only obsessive passions I have in my life.
Okay.
I'll have like every publisher I could think of's YouTube page open all through E3, just hitting F5 constantly. Yeah. Oh, maybe there's an extra trailer that they're just going to release today.
You put together detailed schedules.
I do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey guys, did you see this little indie game? What are you talking about, Paul? I saw an Assassin's Creed game. I saw a Call of Duty, and I saw that they're doing this new cardboard thing. I'm like, I have a list of 700 games. Why don't you know them all? Why don't you know all of the 700
That was shown in the montage video that you've gone through frame by frame.
Look, I remember when Amazon did their quick montage of games coming out, and they had one shot of one game that I knew, and before that video had finished, I had emailed the developers asking for an update.
I do actually love the montage because everyone's getting excited about different things, and so it's like I'm seeing something, and while I'm getting excited for the next 3, then like you're getting excited about something. There's excitement everywhere.
It's like when we used to watch Battlestar Galactica in the intro,
and we just open and close our eyes.
Yeah. So our game for Battlestar Galactica was, if you've never seen it, the beginning of the show started the most ridiculous way ever by having a montage of the episode you're about to fucking watch.
Yeah.
It was just like, how about some spoilers for free? So James and I had this game where we close our eyes like a respectable person, but you had to open your eyes 3 times, was it?
Yeah.
Like,
you could, snap them open.
You had
for
to open your eyes for a second 3 times during the intro, and you had to yell what you saw. Someone's got a gun! Ah! Someone exploded! Lady in a red dress! Lady in a red dress! Oh god! It's like
that was such a weird decision.
It's like 12 captains getting shot.
Spoilers.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
Good times.
That was a decent show.
Until the
Until
ending.
the end. And then it was not.
Man, that's an ending that makes Lost look good.
Yes indeed.
Okay. I've got a note here. Oh, by the way, Bethesda is doing a conference. That got confirmed because we didn't know that either. So we do at least have 2 conferences: Microsoft and Bethesda.
Microsoft, I'm interested in. I think
I'm very interested in what Microsoft does this year. They have like the entire landscape to themselves. I bet Ubisoft does one as well. But Microsoft can just fucking do. They could totally screw it, or they could just totally take over the entire conversation.
Well, because they're going to be up there. They've been lining things up. Like they have.
They've got a lot of developers that have been there for at least long enough, maybe not to have stuff coming in the next year, but they're enough that they could have things to show. It's like, okay, maybe it's just a vertical slice. It's a completely fake thing, but it's still like, we know what you're making. It's there and everything. So, okay, I have a point here that says Xbox Live stuff. So now I've got to remember what the Xbox Live stuff is. They opened up like API to Android and iOS, so you can do that. But here's the other thing: so they announced the streaming thing, and we're expecting you here. Now you can play games from your PC on your Xbox One.
Oh, can you?
Yes.
Huh.
You can stream the other direction.
Sure.
I'm like,
okay,
that's cool. Thank you, Microsoft.
Okay. I mean, it's just like a Steam box, I guess, or Steam Link. Like, sure.
Okay, I'll skip that because you can talk about that in a minute. Turtle Rock, makers of Left 4 Dead, are back with a very creatively named game called Back 4 Blood, because they can't get away from the 4 gimmick. And it is a spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead. They have not detailed it yet, but they said they're not just reiterating what Left 4 Dead is. If they're going to do a new Left 4 Dead, they're going to turn it into something fresh and new.
Well, good, because I don't just want more.
It should
Left
still
4
be
Dead.
zombies, though, I believe. Yeah. But something new.
It'd be interesting to see how they go, because Turtle Rock, without having Valve to back them up, haven't had the same level of.
Well, all they've done is Evolve, isn't it?
They said Evolve, and that didn't go so well.
It was an interesting game, though.
Yeah, it just didn't.
Well, I think Evolve came down to they worked really, really hard on it, but at the end of the day, the base concept wasn't that fun.
Yeah, and it was also poorly timed. Things were starting to go a bit more free at that point for those kinds of.
Well, they eventually did.
They eventually did, but that's where it was awkward because it's like, it's not saying happened with Lawbreakers or whatever, where it's like that weird point where it's like you can't really do a paid
or
kind of competitive shooter anymore. I
mean, this isn't in the news, but the Culling. So the Culling released. It had its battleground. What's that name of the genre?
Battle Royale.
Battle Royale. Thank you very much. It had its Battle Royale thing. It was relatively popular. They said, we're going to capitalize on this. We're going to make a sequel really fast. They made it way too fast and terrible. They abandoned the original game. They made a terrible sequel. Then they said, we're going to go back to the original game. We're going to make it free to play. We're going to polish it. And just this week, they're closing down the servers. Yeah. So it's if you get too confused with the messaging and what's going on, you just lose everybody. So Turtle Rock are back. There is a new Octopath Traveler game. It's for mobile.
Yeah, it's great.
So at first, some people thought it was just a port. I know it's a totally new game.
Yeah, it's actually.
But weirdly, you don't play 8 characters. I think there's only 3 or maybe 4.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good fit for mobile. Like, given how episodic Octopath is, turning into mobile makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, and nice that the success. It's the series is going to have some future. Yeah, which is fun.
Yeah. Maybe they'll bring over the other stories at some point as well. I don't know. But I think it's cool.
Well, I think they're new stories.
Yeah, they are new stories. Yeah.
And not finally, but second finally, Nintendo have shown off their VR solution. which is part of Labo. It's Labo Kit 4 VR. And it's amazing. It's Google Cardboard.
Yep.
Using the super, super low resolution screen of the Switch.
Yep.
Which, is good for handheld. Super low for VR.
For your eyes.
To be that close to your eyes and
low.
only using half of it in each eye.
Yes.
And it obviously won't have head tracking because it's just going to use the gyro, I'm going to assume.
So Vom Town.
Except the ways it's being used look fucking amazing. And they have not shown any of the games that are being done. But it's like, so one of them's very basic. It's you hold up like a gun and you're looking through a gun sight and you can shoot. I'm sure it's just a shooting gallery.
Yeah.
Whatever. There's one that's a fucking elephant. I don't know what I do with it. It's got a trunk and the Joy-Cons in the trunk and you got to look to the elephant's face. There's one where you look up a bird's ass. Hold the bird's ass to your face, kids. Now make it flap. I'm sure it's a flying game, but you're looking through a bird's ass. I'm like, yeah, because let's face it, the Switch can't do VR.
No.
But what it can do is some crazy gimmicky shit, which I really, really wish I had someone that had it so I could play with it for 2 hours.
I really wish they would make a paper Virtual Boy. That and just made like a virtual console.
They need to so much.
That's really what I want. If they have...
And the resolution's perfect for Virtual
it's fine.
Boy.
It'll work. It will give me a headache. Yeah. It's fine.
Virtual Boy didn't give me a headache when I finally used it. It was fine, actually. I was like, this actually is really crisp.
It needs to be really red. So red.
The reddest it can
possibly be. I'm hoping. I want them like Virtual Console, Virtual Boy stuff. That's my dream.
Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned it when we had the flip grip last week, but if they just embrace the flip grip, they could do Virtual Console DS games.
It could.
Yeah, because you got the right real
yeah, you could actually. That would work quite well.
Okay, and the last bit of news, which I don't know, I literally know nothing about it, which is why it's for you, is Apex Legends have announced its Battle Pass.
Yes, so they announced yesterday.
I'll just start drawing on this sheet of paper
that the Battle Pass was finally coming. So it is out now today. Please let this be a penis umbrella. This is what I...
No, just a penis.
Oh, no. What did I say?
Wait.
Elephant penis umbrella or something like that? Can't remember. So they finally got their season 1. So the pricing of it is just basically Fortnite. They've just kind of... They've gone for that one pretty closely. I have now played... I'm going to say about an hour and a half of it. So there's been some criticisms towards it. That the actual things that you earn aren't particularly interesting, which is kind of true. Like the like it's sort of like a bunch of skins and a bunch of filler. Like it's not like there's anything too fancy in there, and the skins are kind of far and few between. But the pricing's okay. The time I've spent with it so far, I have not really been having a good time with it though. And the reason is that so far it has just been super, super grindy. So thank you. That's exactly what I wanted.
I did manage to make a elephant penis umbrella.
You did, thank you. So the big problem I have with it so far is that the rate in which... So you get your battle pass and you get I think it's like 100 levels or something like that. And each level you get one or two things. And it's like, you get a skin or you get a loot box or you get some currency or whatever. I played, so probably about an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. I didn't get a single level. Like it's...
That sounds too slow.
And that was winning... one match.
No, that is too slow.
I won a match. And I think 2 where
that should be a guaranteed 5 levels or
there
something.
There was 2 where I was in like the top 3, 2 or 3, and then some where like there's like 2 or 3 where it's like I was finished pretty quickly. So like a good chunk, a good diverse change. And so the reason I'm happy to drop $10 on this thing is because I like unlocking things.
Yeah,
it's
like
it's
a little character chase.
Yeah, like I love having a character chase. And my thinking was having 100 or whatever it is levels, more than 50 levels, that they'd be able to go, let's say they have an hour level, that's 50 hours. Like $10 for 50 hours seems like an okay amount, Yep. But if I, after all that play, have not had a single... I'm close, like I'm almost there. But if that's the rate it's going to give things to me, I'm not interested. Like I could have...
That's way too slow.
Yeah, like I could have taken that money and just bought the new character. Because the reason, if I get the battle pass, if I do play through it all, I'm pretty sure you earn enough currency to either buy the next one...
Surely by then you'd
earn
earn enough
character.
Because at the moment... how much time do you think you've put in so far? Since you got it?
Into the battle pass?
Yeah.
It's at least an hour and a half.
So 90 minutes minimum multiplied by 100. Yeah. I'm pretty sure in that time that would have been far more than you've already put into the game.
Yeah, yeah.
And you've already been able to buy one or both the characters?
One.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I bought
enough to buy a character
Yeah.
already. So yeah.
Yeah.
So you bloody well hope by then you could have enough currency to do it.
So I love the game.
I bet it's going to be rebalanced a bunch during
I
this
think,
month.
yeah. I mean, and I also understand that it's easier to aim like on the conservative end of balance and pull it back. It's very difficult to kind of go the other way. And I feel that across the board with Apex Legends. Like all the pricing on their weapons in the store is dumb.
Uh-huh.
I'm expecting they're just going to pull it down at some point. Like the characters are so much more economically priced than the cosmetic items. It's crazy. You think it'd kind of be the other way around. The characters would be the expensive thing and get a whole bunch of people to kind of buy the cosmetics, but no, it's the other way around. So like while I love the game, on the meta front, on the monetization front, I want them to monetize me efficiently because I like the game. And if I'm spending say $10 every 2 or 3 months on it, that seems like good. Yeah, like I'm enjoying it, I'm engaging with it, I'm playing with friends. This is all great. But so far, it's just been anything driving me away from spending, which seems like a problem.
Yeah, doesn't sound great.
No. I also, in the matches I played, the one where I did win, I'm pretty sure I was in a group
You're being assisted by a hacker.
Yeah. Just because when I died, because I tend to die a lot in that game.
You res instantly.
I was watching the screen of a different player, and it looked as though they were out of the level. And yeah, they were doing. I think they finished with like 13 kills or something like that. They did quite well. I actually got no kills because I couldn't keep up. Like there might have been speed hacking as well. I'm not sure, but they were always running off way ahead, and I was just constantly chasing them to try and catch up. So I don't know. I think I want that game to do well because I think that it's very well
it's
designed.
A very good game,
It's a very good game. I just think that they've got some shit to sort out.
Yeah. Need to staff up, get to them epic levels.
Yeah.
6,000 people.
Is it really that much?
No, I have no idea.
I hope not, no.
But I like that you believe it for a second.
The amount of money they've got. Epic be 6,000 people.
I mean, the thing is, like, Respawn isn't a giant developer to begin with. And they've got, well, apparently another Titanfall thing being announced this year. And they've got that Star Wars game that's being shown off pretty soon. It's like, so... Like, I don't know how big the team actually is.
Oh, we're getting a Call of Duty mobile. That was something that was announced the other day.
So, next up in news.
Well, I think it's actually going to have Blackout in it as well. So they're going for basically after like that Fortnite mobile thing because this is the next generation can play games just fine on touchscreens. Even my old curmudgeon hands, I really need to spend my formative years playing with touchscreens to be any good at them. I think it's just
I see a lot of kids playing with touchscreens and they suck.
But they can be really good too. I've seen some videos of like some kids playing on touchscreens and it's so that's Call of Duty's coming to mobile. Sure. I'll
add that to my most anticipated mobile game.
They want to get some core Call of Duty happening on mobile. Look nice. Like it looks like it's running well.
I can't find my anticipated mobile games list.
Oh no. Why isn't Sky Squadron on that list? Where are you going to write that down?
James, we need to have a serious conversation between the two of us. Have you thought about making Sky Squadron more like Desert Golf?
You mean not make money? No, I'm sure Desert Golf made some money.
I don't know if it did.
Yeah, they probably did.
I don't think. Oh, maybe it cost $1. I don't remember.
Yeah, anyway. Probably made some money.
Got some prolific exposure.
Yeah.
They got paid in exposure, James.
You got paid in exposure.
Whenever I try to pay in exposure, I get arrested. Anyway, I guess we could talk about some video games and stuff. Or I can talk about Death Note. No. So, other big game, I guess, I played. Highly anticipated by everyone, of course. Hypnospace Outlaw, which you have been waiting for. And I'm sure everyone out there
I have been eagerly waiting for this.
Of course, by the developer of...
What was the game called again?
The new one?
Yeah.
Hypnospace Outlaw.
Hypnospace Outlaw from the developer of...
You got 3 chances. And I'll give you a hint after each guess.
Okay.
Maybe I'll just say a lot of recalled.
Can you give me a hint to start off with? Point me in the direction.
Happily disturbing.
Party hard?
No. Hugs.
Octodad?
Adventure game.
Paradigm?
No, but not too far away from Paradigm.
Right.
Dropsy.
Oh, the clown game.
Yes, the very long in development.
I would not
have guessed Dropsy.
No, I would not have guessed
So
Dropsy.
I loved Dropsy. Dropsy was this deformed clown that just wanted to love everything, but made everyone cry when he came close.
He just wanted to be loved. He was such
Most
a
of
nice
that game was getting close enough to people that they'd let you hug them, and then it was.
Did that ever come out?
Yeah. I played through. I played through it on PC and on iOS. I think.
Okay.
I was a year between each playthrough, but it's a good game. So this was his new game, Hypnospace Outlaw, which is about surfing the internet in the 90s. Do you like web rings?
This is starting to ring some bells now.
So this game is, you have basically, there's like this new online platform.
Yeah.
Then you've come in and you've been hired. You've got a special version of the OS that makes you an enforcer. So your job is to go out there responding to requests or sort of criminal acts that are going on and find them and report them and get those people taken. It's a little bit sort of like Papers, Please 1984, but in 90s. And you... the guy that does it is a musician, so almost every page is filled with hilariously bad animated GIFs and
rotating guitars.
And built-in music. So every web page has its own song basically. So like the first mission is someone's been posting unsolicited images of this old cartoon character, Mr. Peanut. You know, so you go in there and you find this grade 1 teacher's homepage. And she's got like a picture of two pictures of Mr. Peanut. And like, you got him, but be on the lookout for more. And on the same page are all like the drawings from her grade 1 class, and you can take down each one with Mr. Peanut in it.
Holy shit, I have to play this.
Report her to the authorities. But I reported them all. One of them wasn't good enough. Oh my lord. Was I laughing when that one was just like, this isn't Mr. Peanut? The kid's like, man, you suck, kid. No art for you. And then so it's a whole OS there. You can like change your desktop background. You can go and download antivirus and stuff. Because what you'll need the antivirus, because having viruses is part of the game.
Holy shit.
You might need to, in an early mission, and sorry, slight spoiler here for a gameplay mechanic, deliberately get infected so that you get adware so you can go to those websites and report them.
Holy shit, this is amazing.
It's so
it's an adventure game? For a browser?
Yeah. I suppose it's an adventure game.
Yeah.
He's created a small internet, and I'm sure as you get more clues to keyword search, you'll find more and more pages. But it's really fucking funny, and like it literally has web rings in it. Like they call them something slightly different, but it's like oh yes, well here's my mysticism web ring and my merchant's web ring. You can follow through each one of them and get all the keywords, and you learn all the people making the websites, and then there's starting to come in the elements of conspiracy and everything in there, because it is about this oppressive thing coming in, and so I thought. I went out of my way at one point to do something I wasn't requested to do. I'm like, well, I can obviously see this as a different kind of infraction, and I did it, and it said it was wrong. I'm like, I guess the game's not really that intelligent. It's, whatever. Nope. I got an email 5 minutes later from one of the managers really angry saying, I told you not to let people report that. It was like, we want that one out there. I'm like, okay, game. You were
well done, game.
You're doing very well. So you can open up the options. This is in-game options. And you can there's the visual flare tab, and you can turn up the trail on your mouse pointer to be super long. If any of these things are making you go you'll enjoy this game at least a little bit. I think the game's a little bit expensive.
How much?
I think it was 20 something Australian. But I don't know its length overall. So I might have to come back on that. But it's very well crafted. As I say, every page is different art style, songs written for it. It's this interconnected network of people that it seems really lovingly designed with a great sense of humor. And for people like us, a real sense of nostalgia while still being like a hideous caricature of that nostalgia. Like the internet was never quite this bad.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask, how much of a caricature is it? Like, if I go download the GeoCities torrent to get all of GeoCities,
it's lower resolution.
Oh, okay.
So it's a bit more pixelated, but I guess its actual content is pretty on the
It's like if you go to the Space Jam website, does it look like that? Because that's legit.
Yeah, it's
under construction.
I might quickly show you some of this after. It is.
Go find your picture of some some construction workers and construction fences so you can put them up, because you're going to get that website made.
I'm 99% sure there are like under construction things.
Oh yeah.
And also like on one kid's page, it has the content, but you can keep scrolling, and you scroll down a few pages. It's just like, why'd you scroll down this far, loser?
Beautiful. It sounds amazing.
Yeah, Hypnospace Outlaw is
Hypnospace
Outlaw. It's certainly worth a look, and even if it's a bit too expensive for what it's a gimmicky game.
Yeah.
But wish listed and like
keep an eye on it.
Yeah, because it's very cool, and the guy's really. I've spoken to him before. I think we did an interview years ago. Nice guy.
Yeah, and I always had a soft spot for Dropsy.
Yeah, Dropsy
as a character.
It's a very heartfelt game, and he had so much passion making it. Like I think it started as a Something Awful game, and then it like fell through, and then he kickstarted it, and that sort of fell apart. He did a new Kickstarter, but each time everyone was included, and he was always very honest about it, and he got it all finished in the end of the day. So someone that works hard and doesn't give up, and even hey, I don't care how many times you fail if you actually are being honest about something and working hard. It's good, and he's made a good game, and now he's made another one as far as I can see. Very quick one, because I haven't actually played any more since its original release. And I suppose disclosure that I would consider these developers personal friends. Assault Android Cactus has come out on Switch, which I know they really wanted to do when the Switch first came out and weren't able to. It's an extremely good running port.
Yeah, well, they had that running on the Vita, didn't they?
No, I don't think it has a Vita
release.
It wasn't
on the Vita. I thought it was on the Vita.
No, it's on pretty much everything else.
Okay.
I think this is the first handheld interpretation. Okay. It's a twin-stick shooter. It's extremely stylish. It has levels that transform through them. But it also has lots and lots of accessibility modes. So
that's cool.
Yeah, so I think they were the new things, or I missed them the first time. I saw Nart talking about them online. Basically, like the game will like auto fire, auto aim for you, and you can just focus on movement and stuff like that.
Cool,
which is like, if you're like a kid or something when you want to play with your dad, and you can, a lot of the stuff's very customizable. The game has a lot of options. A lot of them unlock as you play, but I think that stuff's there from the start. And that's the thing. I think we get so much into the hard, like twin stick shooter is a very hardcore genre. There's a lot of like penis waving about it, like, it's like, but at the same point, people just want to have fun and play games sometimes. And sometimes you want to play them with your families, or you want to introduce someone to the concepts of it. And that's good. I don't care. I'm not going to be any hurt that somebody had an easier time of a game than I did.
Or it could just be you don't have the ability to actually use two sticks at once.
Yeah. A lot of people have difficulty using two sticks at once if they haven't grown up playing games. Which obviously we have, so we've got pro skills. I think I played a level with Tim once, and he was much better than me.
He would be.
So Assault Android Cactus is out on the Switch. I quickly want to mention that Wargroove had a bunch of big updates. So Wargroove I was extremely positive about. And the updates have just sort of fixed the problems that some people had. It's ones that you might like.
Yep.
You can set a checkpoint at a level.
Good.
So if a level's tough and you're like, I'm going to take this move, but it might fuck me over, I'm going to put a checkpoint so I can come back here if it fucks up. And I believe you can just keep placing them if you want.
That sounds perfect.
Yep.
That sounds like it solves the one thing which would really shit me with that game.
You know how I said that there were like sliders to change the difficulty, like you can turn down the economy or turn down the... You can still do that, but they've also just got set ones like easy, medium, hard. So it sets like what is like good to consider. So you're not just playing around with the minutiae of it.
To try,
like the icons for seeing like something's weaknesses are kind of hard to read, so they redid all that UI.
Okay.
It's just one of those things like that they pretty much took all the criticisms across the board. So, well, which ones can we fix? Realized it was most of them, and just did it. That's lovely when a developer has the freedom to do that and the ability to do it.
Yeah. I just think like it's because like in the mobile world, like where it's more games as a service, that's just how they work.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see those attitudes coming back because it's very easy for them to once they're done to just sort of go,
Just move on.
done,
Hey, we've got
move
another
on.
project to do.
So it's that's really nice to see that they've gone back and given it some extra
and you can
love.
add bots in multiplayer.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So if you don't want to play against your friend, rather play with them, play with them against some bots. Okay. Now, James, I've got one more thing to talk about. So do you want to talk about, like, you've played any more Division 2?
Yeah, I'll talk about Division 2.
Tell me about that.
So, I've played... I'm still very early, so just as a caveat. And the reason I am still very early is because I keep remaking my characters.
And why do you keep remaking them?
So, first character I made...
I feel this is a good story.
I made him, and he was a Whitey McBrownhair.
Oh, no,
James. With a beard. And so I made Whitey McBrownhair, and I played for a bit, and then I saw another person who was a Whitey McBrownhair, and went, well, the world's going to be full of Whitey McBrownhairs. That's not going to do. I need to feel unique. So, okay, next character time. So, all right, well, stop identifying yourself by your skin color, James. So maybe you should be someone African-American. So, all right, go African-American. Yeah, cool.
Could you say it in a less politically correct way?
No.
You almost did
so
it.
close, so close. So like he had a cool beard. He looked kind of cool. I struggled a bit with the tattoos because that's just the problem with dark skin and tattoos. It's hard to kind of make them pop out. And there's some cool tattoos in that game. And then I was playing that, and then I felt, it's just too much. Like, is it just me kind of pandering to myself? To like, I felt kind of insecure about it. Of like, I was trying too hard. So I
to your libtard cuck sensibilities.
Yeah. So I'm like, no, this don't feel comfortable. I feel like I'm putting on blackface.
Oh no!
So I didn't like it. So I went back again.
So time to put on your gender face.
So I put on my gender face.
Okay, yeah.
But I did a Miss Whitey McBrownhair.
Boo.
Though what I did is I did try to channel a little Sigourney Weaver. Because I just thought, well, if I'm gonna make a female character, let's base it off a character that I really like. And I like.
So could you do like the big hair?
Well, I went for more like the kind of frizzy kind of cut. So like it was. Well, so one of the best things about Division 2 versus Division 1 is there's a lot of character customization in there. So I got like a character that had the kind of features I liked and the hair I liked. It's like, okay, cool. So she is now a bit more of a square face, like a bit more of a.
I like a square face
Yeah,
too.
like just.
I feel like the square faces don't get enough recognition in popular culture. They're good.
Well, I made a chick that looks cool. Is sort of what I was aiming for, and I made a character I thought she looked cool.
She could run around well with me making Blood Tornado in every single video game.
So I settled on her finally, and so now I've been playing kind of a bit more of it, and I'm now discovering that. Actually, there's a lot of people who just play female characters in that game. In fact, I would say so far about maybe close to like 2/3 of characters I've seen are female.
Oh.
Which is kind of cool to see.
Yeah.
And all of them very different. Like, because there's so good, like the character transformation is so good. Like there's a lot of variety. That's still mainly white though. I think I've seen one Asian guy. You don't see, but there's one. I saw one. Someone made one. That was cool. It's very interesting. But I do find it really interesting to like what do people identify as?
Yeah.
And like it's a game where you can fantasize anyone. Like, but when you're fantasizing someone, you'll tend to pick elements of yourself to go into that and what you like in a character. So I always find it interesting to see like what are people going to pick, and at least like it's now a lot less of the Whitey McBrownhair. Mr. Whitey McBrownhair seems to be a lot less. He's actually the minority now, from what I've seen so far.
They've won.
They have won.
Don't ask me who they are.
Who are they? 8chan.
Oh,
no, the opposite of 8chan. The SJWs.
Who knew that 8chan would lead to something terrible?
Oh, who would have thought? Let's leave that.
You know what? I almost had on here, let's get very political today. I'm like, no, I guess that could be from Paul's own private time.
It could be a different episode. The political
yeah, we can
show.
get some... Because
we can do a good Q&A.
You know, I'd like to do that sometime. I'd like to have a discussion because I think... And I am going to touch very, very briefly on something political here. We're mainly referring to the shootings in New Zealand from last week. That gaming isn't blameless in cultural elements that have led to things like this. The gaming environment itself harbors some of this stuff and it gets propagated and everything around. And I'm not saying that PewDiePie was responsible for anything, but it's like we are a vector that people are using as
I think
well.
I think
that's where we can talk about some interesting things.
Yeah, you don't want to say it's not the games are not responsible anyway, but you're saying
No.
I think a vector is a good term to use. Yeah, it's a cultural vector.
Yes, and it's a cultural vector of being deliberately exploited by some people, and also I think in some ways naturally allows that stuff to propagate to a degree, and sometimes. Where's that code of conduct are crazy and they can't be enforced or anything anyway. But it's like sometimes we look at our own behavior and see, whilst everything we obviously no one here is supporting anything. It's like, but you know what? Part of especially some of my past things are like maybe didn't help. Yeah, and I think that could be interesting to have a conversation. I don't know who we had the conversation with. Because it's hard to find someone on the other side of that discussion.
Just to stay political for a bit. You know what I'm a big supporter of? Corporate censorship.
Oh,
I am a huge fan. I love the idea. I think it's fantastic. If Reddit, Twitter, Facebook, Xbox Live just had like zero tolerance, they're a private company. They can do what they want. They can go in and just shut down 8chan. They go, no, we can kill it, delete. There's a button. There's a button they can hit and make that go away.
Yeah,
I think
at the same time with that, whilst I
think
do agree.
Corporations don't know you shit.
Yes. Whilst I do agree, there have been even in very recent times that very same thing being used down to clamp down on like sex workers and sex activists and stuff like that. So obviously everything has a double edge to it. And it's hard to moderate and know where those lines are drawn. It's what I talk about at work all the time. It's like, I'm not saying that some of it's not good and some of it's not bad. I'm saying I don't know where the line is drawn.
Well, like I get real shitty when I read the kind of messages that women get on Xbox Live. And
it's insane.
It's completely disgusting. And somehow this is allowed. Like it blows my mind.
That's always so.
It's a private. They can read the message and they can go ban this person.
A very small controversy that did not become a controversy today. I did both. Was a woman, and sorry, because I don't really read Twitter, just sometimes stuff pops up in front of me. And she's a speaker at GDC, and she walked towards the speaker's line to get her badge, and the security's like, "This is the speaker's line." She's like, "Yeah, I know, I'm a speaker." She was asked 3 or 4 times to get out of the line because this was the speaker's line. Because she was a young woman with coloured hair, and she doesn't belong. Now, instantly as soon as that went out, organizers apologized as a trading. Like it was not a controversy because everyone's like, man, that was shitty, and we're going to take actions to make sure that this is like not an attitude that people bring to the table again. So it was good that the conversation was there, and that's what this conversation should always be. It's like, hey, did you know this shitty thing happens? It's like, sorry, we'll address that. Great, done. No one had to have anything done to them in just a conversation. But yeah, it's stuff like that. You just go like, I was thinking about like I just will never experience that kind of thing in my life because of me being
you're a white male.
Yeah, at least outwardly a pretty. I'm very much doing this in huge inverted quotes here. So please, a normal guy. Huge inverted like
but we know what you mean.
The word normal is terrible, but still. Well, it's not. You know what I mean.
Don't normal shame me.
Well, no, that
not
was bad
all normals.
too. Oh God! Oh no! Oh.
Please don't use that.
Not all normals. Dear God. Maybe we should make like normals like lemmings. Like just create a creature called the normals.
Call them normies?
Yeah, and just say whenever someone tries to generalize or call something normal, we go like, "You mean this?"
Or just completely undermine it as like
every time.
Yeah,
it's like, well, that's not normal. I go like,
what?
You mean this classic 2018 video game? It's like we're 19 now. 2018 by J&P Enterprises. The normals. It's like creatures crossed with lemmings, crossed with polymorphous perversity. The normals. They've got dicks for feet.
It's just basically your spore creature.
Yeah. There was a fantastic hard drive story this week, which was man made of entirely of penises appreciates spore for its representation.
You remember when we did the interview with Fergus Urquhart?
I mean, I remember. I think we talked to Fergus at least twice.
Yeah,
actually.
I think the first one we did, and I think it was about the time we were talking about spore.
Yeah.
And I remember he looked at our website, I think, during the chat, and it's like he just saw like this penis creature. That's 8.5 bit.
Oh, Fergus.
Paul's penis creature.
He's a nice guy. Man, but what else is Paul for?
Making penis creatures.
I literally have half this page is a giant dick now. You can't see there.
Well,
I'll make a picture later or something.
I'll send a picture to the chat.
It's a penis elephant umbrella.
Yeah.
It's exactly what James wanted. What are we talking about? Okay, we're done with the political side of stuff.
Yeah, Division 2.
Because we're not the place which has nothing to say politically,
which is
other than that guns are. You should have a gun.
You should, well, they kind of.
There's like an intro.
Yeah. They say "Do you have your gun? Does your neighbor? Some survived." That's what it says. I know because I watched the intro about 3 times every time.
Oh yeah, because
I had some kind of existential crisis.
I just realized we haven't spoken about Division 2 past the character creator.
No, but what I said about during the beta still stands, and I'm going to keep playing it, so I'll go into kind of more detail. I think down the line when I've got a bit more into it. The big standout thing for me so far compared to the first one is the missions have a lot of visual variety, a lot more than was in Division 1. So it's like, like the first mission I did was like, I'm in a hotel. Like, okay, that's cool. This is the thing I'd expect. And then, I'm in like this underground bunker which is flooded with water that's all full of algae and it's all green and there's like grass and everything. I'm like, I'm in a nightclub. Like it's changes a lot.
Discotheque.
Yeah, like more like this level looks like Tron. I'm like, no, it's just like a fancy nightclub. Discotheque. Okay. Yeah. So yeah,
it's just a more fun word.
Yeah. Like so far, it feels like a good I guess
it's the good Division.
It's it's very iterative on Division. So I'll play it more. I'll have more to say down the line.
James, as someone that now has played far more,
yes,
Battle
Royale.
Royales. Why can I not think of the second word tonight? Anyway, more Battle Royales than me.
Yes.
I have a pitch that I wonder what you think about its appeal, because you have a slightly better grip on the audience than I.
Mm-hmm.
Battle Royale, but roguelike-ish in that at the beginning you'll sort of roll the character's equipment and there's no collecting, there's no searching. You only get equipment from people you kill.
It's very much broken into phases.
Yeah. But you see, I hate the search phase.
But that's kind of like
it's very boring.
Well, it's very hit and miss. Like it can be.
But I figure, can't we just hit and miss it with a die roll and skip it?
Well, this is where Apex Legend has things like tell you where the hot zone is.
Yeah.
So if you want that experience, then you just land at the hot zone.
Yeah.
So just do that. I think if it seemed like a problem to take it out entirely, because part of it is the looting and the tension that like you stumble across someone else. Like it's the game, like the size of the map means that a lot of the time you just
map's quarter of the size.
Okay, well, see, like I think what would solve your problem would actually be making the map smaller.
Yeah.
So you have like rather than getting rid of the loot stuff.
No, you need loot. You're just not like searching a bunch of crates over and over again.
I like the idea of like more like roguelike elements, like things that can come in and kind of break the balance a bit more. Yeah. But then you got to, it is still competitive. So if someone randomly gets a thing that they start with, see, I think that's the problem. Like if it's you get it from the beginning, then it's kind of unfair. Like,
but I mean, you can still land on good gear.
Yeah,
in the game.
But there is sort of like this slight like
escalation.
Yeah, it's like you still land with nothing. The starting point is still nothing, and it is like I know what you're saying. Like functionally, it's not terribly different between giving someone a bunch of stuff at the beginning or them finding a bunch of stuff early on. But I think that making that space.
How about a battle royale where everyone just rolls a dice and the highest number wins?
Oh, that I'm down for. Snakes and Ladders battle royale.
And you play Tetris at the same time, but it has no effect on the game. It's just something you do to pass the time. Yeah. I call it Tetris Dicey Die. Anyway. Okay, good stuff. So I very quickly mentioned I keep playing VR games. Mm-hmm. So Beat Saber finally had its first song pack drop.
Yep.
They're pretty good so far. The only problem is it's still all EDM. And whilst the game certainly suits that, I just kind of wish they'd go now like, okay, so we're just going to do like, frankly, even stuff I don't like, country song.
It is a bit like what other music games I've played, like going back to like Donkey Konga or anything like Guitar Hero even. Like there'll be that like Guitar Hero sticks with the genre, but there'll at least be a lot of variation within that
Yeah.
genre. When you have like your Donkey Kongers or your DDR, yeah, it will be like EDM, but there will be, here's the classical song. Here's they will kind of mix up the genre a bit. It's a little disappointing if they are purely sticking to the one genre. Like, it just seems like it's a bit narrow-minded. Like
That's what I think.
Yeah, like it's just like you've got this. It's a beat game.
It's like you can't get away from your own aesthetic. It's like that aesthetic can work for any
It'll
genre.
be fine. You can make it work with anything.
You want to put some Nine Inch Nails in there?
Yeah.
You want to basically put the soundtrack of Thumper in there?
Yeah.
I mean, that might be a bit of a stretch.
It does seem like a bit of a like they're narrowing the audience a bit because I'd like to play some classical music or something. Like it's going to be by mixing up the music, you're changing the experience.
I mean, honestly, treat it like it is pretty much drums, and just get some real like rhythm heavy, like classical pieces, stuff like that. Just like focus on it. Put up some actual marching songs. There we go.
Yeah, it's
maybe
just,
not marching.
And I guess
songs,
this is where the PC version
it's ahead of the
vastly
PSVR
superior
one,
because you do
But then you're also at the mercy of how good those charts are as well. Well, the charts are always good in the ones they release, so that's good. And then the other one I was sort of playing was a game called Pixel Ripped 1989.
Oh yes.
It is a game where you start off inside a Game Boy game, and shit goes to hell.
Okay.
And you get sent to be in the body of a little girl in the real world who's playing her Game Boy in class and then in other locations. So you have to do things like be playing through this Game Boy game with your controller in the virtual world, but you can't be seen by your teacher playing it. So you just you can do spitballs and knock down the books and like keep playing a little bit more. And then as the game goes on, which I'm not too far into it, but it's in that starts breaking down the barriers between the virtual world and the real world and everything. It's cute. Yeah. It was on sale. On sale seems like the right way to do it.
A lot of the VR experiences are like that.
That's all I want. I really just want PlayStation VR subscription. It's $15 a month. You just play all of the VR games.
PlayStation Plus, they should just start giving us VR games.
I can't, they've done some in the past. I can't believe now that they dropped Vita and PS3
just
that they did not
give me one a month.
PSVR.
There's a lot of VR games, and then you're building up a library of people owning VR games.
Yep. And giving a reason for people to buy.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I've technically got 12 VR games.
It's
Maybe it's time to give it a shot.
So just to quickly check the chat, because Cal jumped in before. He said, like your terrible idea for Battle Royale.
Oh, yes.
Saber would remove the feeling of having control.
Control of what?
Like when you land, you've got more control to run and find stuff. You are moving some control.
It's all random bullshit.
I used to hate Battle Royale, Paul, and then I played a good one.
Oh, I like it.
And now I like it.
I just get bored by the search phase.
I like the search phase.
Quick, here's another box. I mean, if there's something going around, it's a little bit more interesting, but oh no, here's some more crap. Run to another building. Yeah, some more crap. Man,
that's why you just don't land in the boring zones.
I've landed in some interesting zones, and none of them are that interesting. It's when things start going shit. That's when all the zones can be interesting.
What you want to do is land on the airship. That's when shit gets real.
But there's shit loot on the airship.
Yeah, but you're gonna have a good fight. There's good loot on
Not
there.
me. I'm just gonna die.
Well, that's why.
I've only played like half an hour of this fucking game. I am not going very far in it. I can tell you that. Okay. Well, I guess I'll save my good ideas for another life.
We need the ideas podcast. We'll record it, but no one can listen to it because they'll steal our ideas.
Yeah, how dare they? I had some good pictures before. I can't remember them.
I just need the idea podcast.
Yeah.
Nothing but just like, these are ideas. Like my idea I had for the Battle Royale Alien crossover.
Oh yeah, that was terrible.
That was a good idea.
Bad idea.
Like it's like everyone.
I'm just putting down your idea
when
because
you
you don't like mine.
like it's you're a space marine, and then when you die, you become a xenomorph, and so you get this natural kind of like.
As soon as you start talking about it, even though I understand it's good, I just in my head I'm just like, man, Natural Selection 2 was such a good game. It was so good.
What that team's doing now?
Subnautica.
Oh, it's that same team.
Yeah.
Okay. And they've just got their new Subnautica coming out.
Yeah,
the frozen one. Yeah.
Good team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible VR though.
Well, in Subnautica.
Oh, it's bad.
Oh. Yeah. Well, I won't ever try it.
No, don't. Like they have the HUD, right? The HUD appears about here.
Ooh.
Their VR is not good.
He says, "Hot drop you was holy shit. I want that game." He's obviously referring to my previous pitch that he was making fun of. He's just changed his mind.
Not my alien one.
He's not talking about your alien.
This
game.
is when you had your conversation the other day about like Game of the Year pitches in the chat.
Oh,
Yeah.
when you okay. So here's my Game of the Year pitch to everyone out there. So Hitman, but you're a borrower.
And I said, "What's a borrower?"
And I said, "Go fuck yourself, you illiterate slut."
I think
or
that's
something.
verbatim what you said.
Something like that, yeah. You illiterate piece of shit or something. So a borrower, for those that are illiterate, is a classic race of beings that live in like under the houses and walls, and they borrow things from the big people. So if you're aware with Terry Pratchett, he did a similar thing with like diggers and truckers and wings. Yeah. Just little people that live in our world.
Yeah, I understood
So imagine you're Hitman, but you're tiny, and you can like sneak into an area by climbing into someone's backpack, or choke them to death with your feet. So many fun ideas.
I like my alien idea.
What if the alien was a borrower? I've got some spoons. I'll return them later. In the books, the borrowers fucking never returned anything. It's a lie. They're thieves.
What if one player in this alien, it's actually AVP Battle Royale. So one player
steals things, the other one returns them.
One player is randomly the predator. Then everyone else is Marines, but as people die, they become xenomorphs.
Fortnite already did it. One person's Thanos. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about? There's your list, so you can remember.
There was some other stuff. Very briefly, we gave. Both of us played RE6 this week.
Oh yeah. I thought we were close to the end, but I was wrong because I didn't really. When I saw like spoiler stuff, I like closed my eyes, but I thought I saw it.
No, RE6. Resident Evil 6. Remember we loaded up
because we haven't finished. We're talking about RE2 is what
we'll finish that and then we can have a conversation about it. But we're not close to the end.
Holy shit.
But yeah, RE6, that was like stepping back in time. I'm not even stepping back in time that far. But man, I had forgotten about QuickTime events. Like, I know we still have a variation of QuickTime events. Like, we still have, like, in God of War, we have QuickTime events. But we did not have, like, late 2000s or early 20... No, this would be, like, maybe, like, 2012, 2013.
I owned this game, but I have never loaded it up before.
It's a different beast.
It's holy fuck.
Actually,
it painful? I
think it's about 20... I'm going to say 2015. I reckon it's about when it was out.
I mean, we have phones. We can just look.
Yeah. But you can really see, like, where that genre, like, it hit rock
There's
bottom.
a reason we jumped off it.
Yeah, like, it's that thing. Like, when you think you went from, like, Resident Evil 4, amazing game, amazing kind of reboot.
What did you say?
I said... I'm going to say... I'm going to say 2012.
Oh, you're right.
I got it.
Because I thought you said 15
No,
before.
I did,
I'm
but
like,
thinking
that was
about
way
it
too
again,
late.
it's like, 2012. I'm gonna shift my estimate.
But it didn't come out on Windows until 2013.
With the games for Windows. Like that. I was really surprised how janky it was.
Oh yeah, it's not that long since I played RE4. No, it's not that.
Yeah,
junky.
like it's just amazing comparing those two because RE4 is just so tight. It's an amazing game, and then I remember RE5 was like, like it was definitely wasn't as good as 4, but it was still kind of Resident Evil. This one, I don't know what the game's trying to be.
Some weird interactive movie.
Yeah, like it's like there's QuickTime events, but then it's like it's trying to be an action game, but then it's also trying to be a zombie game. It's just weird. I remember like the jankiness was like it's in the intro, and you get to like this ledge, and they want you to jump down in the ledge, and you're kind of basically standing at the top of this ledge, and then the first thing I do because like I can go left and right is I go I'm gonna go this way or this way, and there's invisible walls, so it's like I'm just walking against these.
Mike just suddenly dropped.
I'm just walking against these invisible walls, and it's like, well, if the only thing I can do is jump down. Why didn't you just make me like
just automatically do it?
Jump me down. Like, well, why did you even give this as an option?
It's gameplay.
Yeah. It's like a QuickTime event. Yeah. And they did like each QuickTime event's a mini game. It's like, oh, you gotta like the things moving back and forth, line the thing up.
It's like golf.
Yeah. Though I do want to go play more. I think we should go because the structure I like the look of.
The problem was that I started playing it because we're like, is this co-op? I'm pretty sure it's co-op.
Yeah.
It's co-op. So I loaded it up. I'm playing through the intro, and it is painfully bad. Like,
Yeah, it's bad.
It's like James sends me an invite to join his game. I'm like, I'll join. Closes my game. Then it goes, you're not allowed to join. You're not past the intro. It's like, but I can continue where I was, right? Nope.
No.
Back to the beginning. I'm like, you know what? I'd rather kill myself. So maybe on a day I'm feeling a little bit more suicidal.
Because it's like it's episodic, so it could be fun to just I say fun in like fun, to just like play through an episode or two to see how it is. But yeah,
I decided since GDC is going on, I just quickly check and see if
you have
any
to
news
know
had come
immediately.
out. Yeah.
Anything good?
I was right about Carmack making that statement about the latency of TVs, but nothing new that I can see. Good.
I got an email from Unity about the Stadia stuff today. It seems like it was a little bit of a surprise for them because they were sort of like, the email was like, more like, we're excited, we're going to start working with them. It wasn't a case of like, we've had this, you can now hit the deploy button to go to
Which
Stadia.
I find so funny when like Digital Foundry is like, so here's our video that we've pre-prepared and all the Stadia stuff. It's like, so they get it, but actual major partners haven't played around with it.
I thought
yet?
you'd be talking to Unity about this for like the last
2 years or something.
So they're just basically good to go. Not that I think it'll take long. Like it's just going to be running on PC hardware, I imagine.
Yeah. I saw Captain Marvel.
What'd you think? I haven't seen it.
It's fine. It's not. It's certainly lower tier of Marvel stuff, but Marvel stuff's pretty B.
Yeah.
Generally,
just like a B-.
Ben Mendelsohn has some good fun. Samuel Jackson's de-aging makeup is pretty well done.
Yeah.
I never really noticed it.
Yeah.
Just like he's young. I think character-wise, they still, by the end of the film, still haven't really defined what her character is as a personality. She's stoic and sometimes sassy smartass, but everyone in Marvel's a sassy smartass.
Is it a bit of just a prelude to End War, whatever it's called?
Yeah, basically.
Endgame, whatever it is.
Yeah, Endgame. Yeah, it's just basically... Here's so you know who the character is, and they're going to be a major player in the next thing. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe she just gets to fly around and say, yeah.
I probably should watch it before.
That's the why we went and saw it.
Yeah, maybe I'll go see it.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I did not.
Maybe I'll see it tomorrow.
As I said, Ben Mendelsohn's good.
Yeah. I'll go see it tonight. Nah, I can't see it tonight. Too late.
Saw Holmes and Watson.
Oh, yeah. How was that?
I laughed.
Yeah. So did it have more jokes than School of Rock?
I definitely did. What I loved about, because James brought this up in the chat, I said that I saw Holmes and Watson, and I'm not saying it's a good movie. I'm saying that it was the stupidity I expected, and if you could ever laugh at John C. Reilly just making a stupid face and pronouncing something wrong on purpose, that's the level of humor we're talking about. And I'm not saying it's highbrow. I won't defend it either, but I'll also say, I suppose it is a defense to say sometimes stupid juvenile stuff can just be it
knows what it's doing.
He says mosquito.
Yeah.
It's a mosquito over there. It's just like, if that's stupid. That's not a joke. It's just saying something wrong, and with the stupid faces you do it. But I laughed. I'm like, watch this guy. Am I the one that's not highbrow? I thought I was supposed to be the pretentious person, but anyway.
But you can be pretentious and have low brows.
It's true.
You're just choosing to lower the brow.
Yeah, very low.
Yeah.
But you brought up that did it have more jokes than School of Rock? I had been paying out School of Rock the day before at work.
Because that was the running bar for us for a long time. It was like, did it have more jokes?
I was not enjoying myself so much I counted as I went through. And it was like, it had 5.
you
5
You did
jokes.
the maths on how much you paid per joke.
Yeah. It's like, it was not worth it per joke. Holmes and Watson, I actually do not understand why it's so hated, because I thought everything when those two together was this dumb. So did they change or did the world change? It's like, it's stupid. But we're here to watch people go, so stupid. And then we laugh at them going, oh, stupid. Anyway, maybe people are just really, really not into Holmes, the mythos of Holmes being messed with. Anyway, that's it. Marvel, Disney now owns Fox, so they own X-Men now.
They own Simpsons too.
So I don't think they did. It was 21st Century Fox.
Oh, actually, I don't know. Maybe
so it's split up in different things. But yeah, basically, so my pitch of the end of the Avengers movie is that the teaser is going to be either Wolverine's claws or revealing Xavier's home for gifted kids.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what Disney now do with X-Men.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll just keep it entirely separate.
Maybe.
Those worlds are getting pretty complex anyway.
Yeah, I kind of like that X-Men is like its own kind of like, because it has its own.
I just kind of think that they
politics.
have their own thing, but then they'll cross over as well.
'Cause I don't really see, because X-Men is so much about how the world responds to mutants. It doesn't make sense for that controversy to exist.
This is my favorite running joke.
To exist in the world with Captain Marvel.
Except it does.
But it can't.
It does.
There's so much
It already does,
dissonance there.
James.
I can't reconcile it.
It literally already has. It has for decades.
No, it just doesn't. How? How does that work? The politics don't work.
They do.
No, they don't.
It's all seamless. It's all science. It's all good. Yeah. And stuff.
Yeah.
I've been watching that Love, Sex and Robots, whatever,
how
on
was
Netflix.
that?
I love it. It's so good. So it's a collection of like 18 short films by whoever.
by people.
They just said they must have just sent out a call to animation houses like, do you want to make something rad? And they said, sure. Will you pay us? Yes. Okay. What are the rules? Goodbye.
Click.
And they said, oh, should we make something that's like impactful and like playing with like the human experience? It's like, how about just something that's like some big fucking robots fighting and it looks rad? Okay. How about some tits? Yeah, that sounds good. A lot of gore? Yeah, okay. We could tear some arms off very, very violently. And some tits, right? Uh-huh. And then they all just made a bunch of things.
So there's no kind of like that's the thing.
There's no through line.
There's nothing.
There's no. I sort of put like the maturity at something like Ninja Scroll, where it's adult because you can't show it to kids.
Yeah.
But it's
so juvenile.
But it's really juvenile and exploitative. But it's also fun at the same time.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's impactful, but it is still feels pretty exploitative most of the time. They all look gorgeous. Some of them are going for hyper realism. Some of them are real.
Yeah.
They're all animated. They look great. I've had really I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I was thinking of what my pitch would be. I'd be like. And I was trying to think of a good one. I was like, okay, it's Future City, and there's like this jazz, like,
and they're the borrowers.
No. There's like this guy that's like he plays a really like stiff jazz saxophone in this club, and I had a name for the club. What was it? Oh, it was the Shelley or something. And basically there's this girl prostitute there, and she's getting beat up, and he comes and he like tears these people apart, and he has no emotion, and they're like, oh, you're a monster, get out of here. And as he leaves, the girl like picks up his wallet, and he goes like, oh, what do we call you anyway? Like, Mr. Frankenstein? And he turns around and he goes, Frankenstein was my father. And there's like a tattoo of some bolts on his neck.
NC.
The line Frankenstein was my father has been making me giggle all afternoon. I'm happy I got it in the podcast. My father's name. Anyway, enjoy My Father's Name, which is what that short is called. Goodness gracious me. Okay, should we call that an end of a show?
Yeah, I think Cal might have, in regards to to the politics question of X-Men.
Oh, he'll be deep diving now.
Yeah, I'm sure he's typing something. So let's quickly end this before he has the time to write something.
I'm going to read one sentence of what Cal puts on there.
I know. I assume that
he hasn't done it yet. He's still working.
That he's typing.
He's working hard.
Yeah. He just said, of course it does. The politics do work.
Here comes the.
He's typing.
Here comes the adamantium. Here comes the adamantium. You can put it in your finger. You can put it in your thumb. Here comes the adamantium. Thank you for watching 8.5-Bit or listening to. You can just on our website, 8.5bit.com, at Twitter and Facebook. And please like and share anything you like on that. Subscribe to us on whatever the hell you want. And leave us reviews wherever the hell you want. It probably helps or it probably does nothing these days because the algorithm has changed.
I don't know.
You can join our Discord, which is full of bullshit. And sometimes you can listen to the show live and you can type things about the politics of X-Men, which we will read after the show. Has he written anything?
He said, I'm not typing, you're just wrong.
Gooba dooba gooba. Here. He's got you. I have been your host, Paul.
And I've been James.
We'll catch you all sometime in the future, probably in 2 weeks, as we normally do.
See you, everyone.
Bye-bye.